I'm trying to get at from here is Muslim unity, right? And we're supposed to be united, right? And everyone in this room heard a lecture on Muslim unity. But, okay, so I want to talk about maybe how practically we can be part of Muslim unity. And part of that is, first of all, to know when to agree and when to disagree. And when a disagreement is worth separating over and when it's not worth separating over. Quick guideline is the following. If we agree on the fundamentals of the religion, then the fundamental aspects of the religion, then if you want to separate, it's worth separating. For example, in a given masjid, one group says we believe there's a prophet after Muhammad ﷺ, and we all believe in him. And if you guys don't accept our view, we'll build our own masjid. I'll open the door and say, get out, right? Because now you disagreed with us, maybe we'll talk a little bit more. We'll talk more, convince them more. But in the end, if they leave and start their own masjid, fine, because you disagreed with us on the fundamentals of the religion. But sometimes people disagree on fiqh issues or which direction to take the masjid in, or I'm going to say this, voting, not voting. I guarantee that right now, if I start speaking about why you should vote, some guy will get upset and say, something. And I will say to that person, Ya akhi, you do know that people have different opinions here. Am I allowed to disagree with you, or that's haram to speak against something you don't agree with? I can say that, right? So khalas, voting, non-voting, all these issues, we don't start our own masjid, the voters, the non-voters. Masjid vote, masjid non-vote. Haram vote masjid, Doesn't matter these things. It's not worth. Not every ikhtilaf should lead to iftiraq. Not every difference should lead to separation or dissension. Only differences on the fundamentals of the religion. People now, they fight over. I'm telling you something. The madhahib issue. It's still big in America. Which madhab do you follow? The madhahib deal with what? Aqidah or fiqh? Fiqh. What's more important? As far as weight, aqidah or fiqh? Aqidah. Now they leave the important thing. If you tell them, Ya akhi, did you hear what this man said about Allah? These are issues. But did you hear what he said about the Hanafi? A'udhu billah. You understand? Things about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and aqidah, these are differences. It's okay, we're flexible. But if I disagree with fiqh, which is flexible, la, we have a problem. There was a fight in the masjid one time, for real, in America. Like punching. Uncles got each other, headbutt, uncle jumping up from top of the minbar on top. So they called the police to come and break up this problem. Just look at how silly things get. So usually most masajid, the minbar, the mihrab, the prayer area is kind of far from the door. So these people, uncles, are fighting in the front of the masjid, punches, all that stuff, and then someone called the police to break the fight. So the police enter now from the middle or the back of the masjid, and they're coming towards the mihrab, and of course the police wear their shoes. They don't know that you have to remove your shoes. So they start walking in with their shoes. These Muslims stopped in mid-fighting. Uncles were like this. And they now, all of them, united against the kuffar. They now all become brothers. And all of them in one voice started yelling at the police. Get out! You got your shoes on! Take your shoes on! Out! 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 And I always feel sorry for these police officers. This must have been the strangest fight they've broken in their life. We just walked in, everybody stopped immediately, and they all start getting angry at us. Take your shoes off. So the concern is the shoes, but I punched this guy in his face. So, well, I'll tell you something amazing. Uthman radiallahu anhu, and again, we're talking about Muslim unity because that's one of the biggest internal problems we have that stop us from being great in the community. Alright? Uthman radiallahu anhu, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him that he's going to be assassinated. And he even told him where, the tribe, the person who kills him, which tribe he's from. That's why when they would enter, he would say, where are you from? And they would say, I'm from this tribe. So it's not you. He knew who was going to kill him. And these people, the Thuwar, the people of Fitna, they actually were in control of Medina. They were not allowing anyone to have a weapon or anything, and they were leading people in the Salah. And if you know anything about the Thuwar, They were a bunch of like thieves and highway robbers and hypocrites and like that. These people were leading people in salah. So the companions came to complain to Uthman. They said, these same people are leading us in the salah. What did Uthman radiallahu anhu say? And he knows they're going to come kill him. He said, as long as they're doing something good, you follow them in that good. Can you imagine this level? Now we want to disagree and cancel people out because they disagree with us on one issue and separate and split and problems and fitan. And it's just not even an issue of the fundamentals. There was one time a fight, this is not in America, but there was a fight one time over, a big fight happened, and it was because of a fiqh issue. And what was the issue? If a woman has a beard, can she shave it or not? Some were saying, no, the hadith didn't say man or woman, don't shave the beard. Others were saying, ya akhi, do you want your wife to have a beard? You know? They start fighting over this stuff. So we don't even know when to disagree. For the sake of Muslim unity, ya akhi. You know, when during the time of turmoil, there was fighting between the army of Ali and Muawiyah and all that. So one of the neighboring nations, they found the Muslims busy fighting each other. They said, okay, he got an army ready, and he crept up on the Muslim border. So Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, when he heard that, he said, he wrote back to him, he said, Wallahi, if you don't retreat, I'll give bay'ah to him and we'll come get you right now. Yani, I'll forget this, not nonsense, but forget this. If you're going to come and attack the Muslims, we'll drop this in a second. We'll give him bay'ah right now and come and deal with you. That guy backed out immediately. Even people, so even under attack, you come together, right? Our experience in America after 9/11, Muslims are under attack. You should band together? No. They were each group was trying to show that we're moderate, they're the extremes. All our beards are under 1 inch, their beards are 4 or 5 inches. Go talk to them. I know that sounds funny, but that kind of stuff was happening. And history is repeating itself. You know, when the Mongols invaded Baghdad the first time, there were many different empires. There was something called the Khawarizm Empire that included Afghanistan and Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. And it was led by Muhammad ibn Khawarizm Shah. And he used to go to war against Nasr al-Din Allah, the Khalif, the Abbasid Khalifa. So when the Tatars destroyed the Khawarizm Empire, the Abbasid Khalifa was happy. But Habibi, now they got you from the sound you do from the western side. Now what's funny from the eastern side? What's happy? What makes you happy with that? It's going to be your turn next. It's going to be your turn next. I know we're videotaping. I don't want to. Khalas, I'm going to skip this example. It's a crazy example, but these things end up on YouTube. Sometimes you're talking just to the group, and then it gets on YouTube, and you're talking to the world. But I was going to tell you some crazy things, but khalas, you missed the chance. The point is, we're talking about being united like that. Okay, you said there's 5 minutes or so. I really want to do this exercise. Yeah? Bear with me, yeah? I want to see how evil you guys are. This is a test in evil. Okay? Now try to, for the sake of this exercise, try to be very evil. Alright? This is a true story. So now you have a masjid here. And there's territories. You can't build a masjid anywhere near us. It has to be very far. But this group made the mistake. They're trying to do activities in our turf. It's like gangs in our turf. So you're part of the big masjid. This group now is having a fundraising event because they want to build something in our area. It's far, but still our area. So they invited this famous speaker and they're going to have a fundraising dinner. Let's say their goal is to raise something like $300,000. How can you, being as evil as you can, kill and make this fundraising event a failure? What would you do to ruin this event? Yes, sir. No, you know the answer. Somebody who doesn't know the answer.
Killing the speaker?
Killing the speaker. A masjid will go kill the speaker. And he go sabotage his car or kill the speaker. I know I said be evil. Not that evil. Okay, realistically evil. Somebody else. How can you kill that event?
They're raising money for terrorists.
Naam. So okay, put out something negative about them that they're terrorists and all that, so less people go to the fundraising. Okay, that's good, but it's not evil enough. Someone else, yes sir.
You host the same event earlier.
You do a same event, same night, right? And that will decrease. Get a more famous chef maybe. So less people go to that dinner. Not a bad idea. Anything else from someone who has not heard this before? something else that's evil. Come on. Call that shaykh, tell them don't come to these people. You know? Not evil enough. Okay, I'm happy that nobody knew the answer. Because if one day someone I do this exercise, so like, you do this, I'm like, how do you know it's so clear? That's a problem. So good, congratulations for not knowing the answer. Here's what they did. The sad part, this is a true story. They're trying to raise $300,000, right? A huge portion of that is like the event at the hotel and the dinner. Maybe that just costs $30,000 just by itself. And then inviting the speaker in the hotel room for the speaker and all that stuff and all that, and the flight and all that. And so they want to raise 300,000. Maybe 30 of that was just expenses. And you know, even when you raise funds at a fundraising dinner, you don't get all of them anyways. You get a percentage of that. Yani if I raise 100,000, I might get 60. I don't get the 100 because people pledge. So what they did is they sent 2 of their people to the dinner. You see how evil? And they sat down and they said, our goal today is 300,000. Who will give 100,000? So one of our guys put his hands up. I will give 100,000. Takbir, Allahu Akbar, may Allah bless you and your wealth and your family. Who will give another 100,000? Our other guy put his hand up. I'll give 100,000. Barakallahu feekum fi malika wa fi ahlika. Now we have 200,000 brothers. We need the last 100. The last 100 they raised maybe 40, 50 from the audience. Instead of hitting their 300,000 goal, they got maybe 255,000. Not bad. Out of the 55, they might get 30. They call our 2 guys. A week later, you pledged 100,000. Oh yeah, I just had some stores burnt down and I just lost my inventory, so I'm sorry I can't make the 100. They call the other guy, I can't make the 100. That's how you kill a fundraising event. Don't apply that. Don't ever do that, but I'm just saying, see the level of evil. And I'm going to spare you some of the horror stories that I've personally experienced. But these are groups who have the same methodology, same belief. One of my friends, his father prayed in this masjid for 30 years in New York. 30 years in the same masjid. And he would just pray and leave. He would pray and leave, pray and leave. And his son was very active in da'wah, dealing with masajid and boards and all that. So he said, my father was invited to become one of the board members of the masjid where he's been praying for 30 years. And after a month or so on the board, he came to me and he said, are all the masajid that you deal with this evil? He said, what do you mean? He said, the board meetings, half of it is just, this group has an event, how can we destroy the event? This imam will have to put a banana in his car tailpipe so it doesn't work. And that's just nasty, underhanded, dirty planning. That's all they did. How are we going to move the ummah forward? All I'm concerned about is the masjid across the street. The masjid across the street, same manhaj, same aqidah, no problems as far as that's concerned. I want to say that I'm hopeful that in this next generation, when they take over, that we're not going to have this kind of nonsense. Right? Inshallah Azza wa Jal. Because some of the older generations, even though they built the existing masajid and all that, but they came with, he's from this part of town back home and he's not Hyderabadi and he's from Jarab and all that, and they bicker and fight. But then comes a generation who was born and raised in Denmark, they're Danish, and that's all they know, and they don't care if you're originally Algerian or Tunisian. They don't care about that. So I'm hopeful that a good percentage of nonsense will end when this new generation takes over. But for us, we should learn to coexist without making everything a big deal. You can have a different opinion. Okay. You can eat stunned meat or unstunned meat. Don't make that a big deal. I know this is a big deal in Denmark. Every time I come, all I hear about stunning and unstunning. Okay? But it's not, in the end, I can respect the other person's opinion. When I learned that people in our ummah don't have much respect for other people's opinions, I had a family member who used to not believe that taking photographs is halal. Okay? Now he changed his opinion. But he used to believe that it's not halal to take a photograph. So we'd be at events and someone would come and say, can I take a picture? And he'd say, no, I don't take pictures. And they would just take his picture. Like nobody has any respect. You don't think it's halal, I think it's halal. I'll take your picture. Respect his opinion. That's not that difficult. So if we can teach ourselves to see, there are other viewpoints. People always think they're right. That's how it is in human history. People think they're right. Imam Malik rahimahullah, when he wrote his Muwatta, the Khalifa read it and he was so amazed by this book, he said, I am going to make copies of this book and force people in all corners of the ummah to follow the fiqh of this book. Now, if I were Imam Malik, I would say I like this plan because it's ajr for me, right? The whole ummah follows my madhab in fiqh. Fantastic. Who else would accept? Fantastic, yeah. Nobody, just me. Don't make me look bad. Somebody. Thank you, sir. Yes. Yeah, great reward. And he said no. And he gave his explanation. It was such a beautiful explanation. He tells them the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they moved. Some of them settled in Iraq, some settled in Egypt, some settled in Yemen. And every one of them gave the fatwa in their area according to what they believed is the truth. So, and people followed them also according to believing that is the truth. So why should I force everybody upon what I believe is the truth? Look how wise and intelligent the statement is. Today you disagree with me, khalas, everything about you is bad and zero and don't pray behind and people go overboard. In politics we disagree, it's a big deal. Everything. So if you can't be part of the bigger picture of unity, at least on this level, we learn to respect each other's opinions. And always, even if you feel very strongly about an issue, just look at it and see, is this one of the fundamentals of the deen? Alright? Meaning, and basically they would actually put him outside of Islam where he could go and start his own masjid, or just an issue of difference of opinions. And there's some differences of opinions. Since the time of the companions, they've disagreed on issues. And today people still try to fight over them. We had a guy, and every masjid has this guy, who loves to argue about everything. And he is well read. And if you choose opinion A, he read opinion B. He might even agree with you on opinion A. But because he knows opinion B, he's going to give you opinion B. Bas kida, he loves to argue. This guy, again, we lived with him years in our masjid. Just a visiting shaykh comes, he gives this opinion. What about the other opinion? And the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud and the Bukhari. He starts to give the other opinion. Just loves to argue. And I've never seen anyone shut him down except one time. A shaykh came and he had just written a book on fasting. Shaykh came from overseas and he gave a lecture on Ramadan and everything. And he mentioned some issues concerning the sighting of the moon. So this guy, he put his hand up and the whole community knows him. With the guest, he's going to embarrass us. And he put his hand up and he started to say, but the other opinion says the moon is sighted in another region. He starts to give his argument. The shaykh shut him down with such, he just tells him, this is an issue the companions disagreed upon. Me and you aren't going to solve it. Boom. That's the truth, isn't it? Yani, the companions went back and forth, they couldn't solve it. Now just me and some guy, mashallah, are going to solve it for the ummah. Now Abbas couldn't solve it for the ummah. Me and you are going to fix it? فخلاص يا أخي, accept that the people have different opinions and don't make a big deal out of everything. Don't want to try to find a way just to argue, you know? Some people just want an argument from you. It's the right attitude, you know, it's the right attitude. These kinds of things are stopping us from being great. Stopping us from being great. Stopping us from the khair emanating from us and going out to the rest of the community. From people realizing how great Islam is. But we always love to boast about how Islam has the solutions. Yani imagine you and a friend are on a journey and you had some kind of problem. Whether it's a mechanical problem or some mechanical problem, which way to go and everything. And then like 2 days later on the journey, your friend is like, you know, when the car broke down and everything, I had the tools, I had the spare part, and I actually repaired that many times before. What would you tell him? You were just sitting with me, letting me struggle, and you had the solution, and you didn't open your mouth? That's how we behave in the Western world now. Islam has the solutions for a lot of problems, for drug problems, for substance abuse, for zina, for all these things. And we're just sitting with our problems, watching, look at these kuffar. Look at the kuffar, they're going straight to the hell. We're just commenting about how they're astray, they're going downwards, they don't have this, we have the solution. We're just sitting on top of it, the solution. We're just sitting on the solution. And we don't want to share it with people. What a strange position. When the housing market collapsed a few years ago, everybody kept saying, now the Westerners are saying the Islamic system was the best system. I personally don't believe they said that, but even if they did, and what is that? Like, I was watching your system for years, and then when it collapsed, you said, I actually had a better system the whole time. Am I supposed to like you now? You are absolutely useless human being. You're sitting on a good system, you don't want to share it. You wait till I failed, and you're like, I knew it all along. It's right here. We're supposed to go and give this khair.